Take a crazy kids show on Cartoon Network and add some nerdy references to other DC characters, and, well, you get a surprisingly entertaining movie. On this episode of Moving Panels, we discuss Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Welcome to Moving Panels, the podcast where we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. I'm your host, Laramy Wells, and joining me today is, well, the perfect example of the audience intended for this movie. She's my daughter, Ruby. How are you, Ruby?
Good.
You want to say hey to everybody?
Hello.
All right, so we are going to talk about Teen Titans Go to the Movie, and I thought that it would be fitting to have Ruby join me for this, because she really was the target audience for this movie. It was intended for her. It was released in July 27th to be exact, back in 2018. It actually took place during the 5th season of the show on Cartoon Network. In fact, the show actually continued. The next episode that would air would be about the rebuilding of Titan Tower, because Titan Tower is destroyed in this movie. A little bit of fun trivia here. It is the first fully animated 2D movie for Warner Brothers Animation. Warner Brothers had established a Warner Animation back in 2013, but this is one that actually gets the Warner Brothers Animation title, and it's the first one since The Iron Giant back in 1999. Have you ever seen The Iron Giant, Ruby? You have to speak. They can't hear you shake your head.
No.
Okay. This, of course, is based off of Teen Titans, who first debuted in the comics back in 1964. The original group was Robin, Aqualad, the sidekick of Aquaman, Kid Flash, obviously sidekick of the Flash, and Wonder Girl, sidekick of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
In the 1980s, they got rebooted as the new Teen Titans, and that's the group that you see in this show and in this movie, with Robin, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy.
Yes.
Now, we didn't see this in theaters. We saw it after it came out to own.
Yeah.
I got Ruby Blu-ray copy of it, which had a digital copy, so we primarily do watch the digital copy. Yeah. Anything you want to say before we get into it?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's start talking about the characters. And of course, first off, we got to talk about Robin. Do you know what Robin's name actually is?
No.
It is Dick Grayson.
What?
Yeah, there are several Robins, but this one is supposed to be the first Robin, who debuted in Detective Comics number 38 back in April of 1940.
That is crazy.
Yeah. He is the leader of the Teen Titans. In this movie, as well as with the show, he is voiced by Scott Menville, who, just funny enough, also was just recently the voice of Spider-Man on the Disney XD show that just, I think, wrapped up about a year or so ago, but very recent Spider-Man show for Disney XD. So he's the voice of Robin, but he was also the voice of Spider-Man. What do you think about that?
That is awesome.
So what are your thoughts on Robin? What do you think about Robin?
That all he thought was about his movie, but the next thing he thought that it's not the movie that's important, it's about being with your friends.
Yeah. So let's start talking about his friends. So first off is Starfire. Do you know what Starfire's name actually is?
No, I do not.
She is Princess Coriander, although when she is on Earth, she sometimes goes by the human name Corey Andrews. So you get that Coriander and Corey Andrews.
Yeah.
Now, she first debuted in the comics back in October of 1980, right before I was born.
Wow.
In DC Comics Presents number 26. Did you know that she's actually been an on-again, off-again girlfriend of Robin's?
Yes.
Yeah. In the cartoon, she is voiced by Hayden Walsh, another prominent voice actor. She is actually the voice of Princess Bubblegum on The Adventure Zone. Do you ever watch The Adventure Zone?
Not really, but I do know who Princess Bubblegum is.
Yeah, well, she is the voice of Princess Bubblegum. So, same girl who voices Starfire voices Princess Bubblegum. She also has voiced Harley Quinn on a few of the other DC animated stuff.
like in the new DC?
Well, some of the DC animated movies. She's not always the voice of Harley Quinn. In fact, I'll tell you who also is a Harley Quinn voice a little bit later. So what's your thoughts about Starfire?
She's really cool.
Yeah? You like how she doesn't quite understand things and kind of the way she speaks?
I love the way how, like, she puts a word before the thing she's gonna say, and it makes the sentence, like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Cyborg. Do you know what Cyborg's real name is?
No.
It is Victor Stone.
To catch up, I do not know who any of the Teen Titans' real names are.
Well, I'm just curious to see. All right, well, Cyborg also debuted in DC Comics Presents number 26, same one that Starfire was in October of 1980. That's because this was the introduction of the new Teen Titans. In the show and movie, he is voiced by Carrie Payton. Although you won't know this, Ruby, some of our listeners might know that he played Ezekiel on The Walking Dead. But going back to what you might know him from, he is the voice of Rafiki on The Lion Guard. Not The Lion King, not the movie, but on the television show The Lion Guard. He's the voice of Rafiki.
Oh.
You know Rafiki, the monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also the voice of Aqualad on the Young Justice cartoon, as well as several other characters. He actually voices a few characters on that one.
That's actually pretty cool.
Moving on to Raven, who I know you said you don't know their names, but her name is actually Rachel Roth, and she also became one of the new Teen Titans in DC Comics Presents number 26. She's actually the one who puts back the Teen Titans and reforms the team because she actually wants them to fight her father, Trigon.
Yeah, I've seen that episode of the Teen Titans where her dad comes and she's like, I don't want this to happen right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, she puts the Teen Titans back together so they can fight off her dad. And so she's the one that brought forth this group. Even though Robin is the leader in the comic books, Raven's the one that actually put this version of the Teen Titans together.
Wow.
Now, in the show and in the movie, she's voiced by Tara Strong. Now, Ruby, you probably don't know this, but Tara Strong is actually a big voice actor who does a lot of voices. So let me tell you some things and probably surprise you with some of this. But Tara Strong is actually the voice of Batgirl and Harley Quinn on the DC Superhero Girls that you like to watch.
What?
Yep. She's also the voice of Unikitty.
No way.
Yep. She's the voice of Unikitty. And I'm going to surprise you with this one. She's also the voice of Timmy Turner on Fairly Odd Parents.
No.
Yep.
Like the cartoon one?
Yep, like the cartoon one.
Oh, that is crazy.
And on the newer version of Ben 10, she's the voice of Ben.
No.
Yes.
No.
On the Young Justice that I mentioned earlier, she's the voice of Tara. Do you know who Tara is?
No.
So Tara's actually a character who joins the Teen Titans, but actually ends up betraying them. Like, she actually works for Slade.
Oh, I get it now. Beast Boys want to have girlfriends.
Yeah. Beast Boy likes her. She can move earth and rocks and whatnot. Yep. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Beast Boy, his name is Garfield Logan. Now, he actually debuted way earlier, not as early as Robin, but way earlier than the other ones because he was actually in a group called the Doom Patrol. And he actually debuted in Doom Patrol number 99 back in November of 1965. Now, when he joined the Teen Titans in the 80s, he wasn't called Beast Boy. Do you know what he changed his name to?
What?
The Changeling.
That's actually a cool name.
Now, I don't know why, because he was Beast Boy when he was in the Doom Patrol, but when he joined the Teen Titans, he called himself the Changeling. But that makes sense, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, he is voiced by Greg Sipes, who pretty much voice anytime you see Beast Boy, that's the voice, especially in like the kids stuff, including Superhero Girls. Going back to that new Ben 10, He's actually the voice of Kevin Levin.
Kevin 11?
Yep, he's that one. And if you've seen the newer on Nickelodeon, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's the voice of Michelangelo.
That's cool.
You know, the turtle with the orange mask?
I haven't really looked at it right now.
That's okay. All right, now they have their villain, of course, which is Slade. How do they say it in the movie?
Slade!
So you got Slade, who is actually Slade Wilson, who in the comic books, although they don't call him this in the movie, in the comic books he's known as Deathstroke.
Huh.
Yeah, and he actually appeared in the new Teen Titans #2 in December of 1980, known as Deathstroke the Terminator. And so now do you kind of get the Deadpool joke?
No.
Okay. So in the movie, you know, they talk about him looking like Deadpool.
Yes.
And all. Deadpool came after him.
Yes.
So his name was Deathstroke, and then Marvel created a character named Deadpool.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah. So that's and then they look similar, they have the swords, their mask is similar. Now, he was voiced by a guy named Will Arnett. Okay. Now, do you know how you know Will Arnett?
How?
He was you remember the game show, I guess you call it a game show, the competition show, Lego Masters, where people built the stuff with the Legos?
Yeah?
He was the host.
No way.
Yeah. He's the voice of Lego Batman.
No.
Mm-hmm. So the guy who was the voice of Slade is also the voice of Lego Batman.
That is crazy.
And also now knowing that his name is Slade Wilson.
I get now why his disguise is called Jade Wilson.
Yep, Jade Wilson. And do you know who voiced Jade Wilson?
Who?
Kristen Bell. Do you know who Kristen Bell is?
I've heard her name before, but
I know you've heard her name before. She was the girl from The Good Place. She's
Wow.
Anna from Frozen.
No.
Mm-hmm. Jade Wilson is Anna from Frozen. Are you okay?
Yeah.
So she's not from the comic books. There is no Jade in the comic books. Slade does have a daughter, though, in the comic books that I think this was based off on.
Jade Wilson?
No, her name's actually Rose Wilson.
Oh.
But they didn't use her because Rose, who's a character called Ravager, she's actually a good guy.
Oh.
Yeah, she even actually joins the Teen Titans at one point.
No.
Mm-hmm. Now, I did want to bring up one group that you actually asked me about, because obviously there's so many other characters. There's Superman, there's Batman, there's Green Lantern, there's all of these different characters, but I only want to bring up one other group, and that's the Challengers of the Unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me who they were. So, they are a real group from the comics.
What?
Yep. They came out in Showcase #6 back in February of 1957. And then they got their own comic in May of 1958, a Challengers of the Unknown comic. Now, in the comic book, there are 4 of them. Ace Morgan, Professor Halley, Rocky Davis, and Red Bryant.
Okay.
But you notice in the movie there were 5 of them.
Yes, because there are 5 Teen Titans, and they can fit in all of those chairs.
Yeah. And that's not all from the comics, because there was a run of the Challengers in which they added a member, in fact a girl, named Karina Stark. And if you look really close, one of the 5 of them in the movie is a girl. So they are, even though only the one speaks, there are 5 of them and one of them is a girl. So I do think that they...
I did see one that looked really like a girl.
Yeah. So this you may not get, but I think a lot of our listeners would enjoy this. So Challengers of the Unknown was actually partly created by Jack Kirby. Now, Jack Kirby is a famous creator of comic books, and he drew a lot of the characters and created their looks. Well, when he left DC and went to Marvel, just a few years after creating Challengers of the Unknown, he reworked kind of the same idea, and that's where a lot of people believe the idea for the Fantastic Four came.
What?
Yep. You know the Fantastic Four?
No.
Okay. Well, famous group in comic books, and he, along with a guy named Stan Lee, created the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
Yeah. So what did you like about the characters, or was there a character you wanted to know more about?
There is one character. I'm confused why Stan Lee keeps coming into the show.
So we do get a cameo from Stan Lee, and you probably don't know this, Ruby, but Stan Lee is behind the man who created a lot of Marvel characters. So he helped to create the Incredible Hulk, he helped to create the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, like I just mentioned.
Yeah.
He created a lot of those characters. So that's why they make the joke when he pops up. And it really is Stan Lee. The voice is actually Stan Lee.
What?
Yeah. And that's why they make the little joke about him realizing, oh, this is a DC movie. Because Stan Lee usually makes all of his cameos in Marvel movies.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the first time he's been an animated version of himself, though. Do you know he actually played the professor in Big Hero 6?
I don't even know what Big Hero 6
You
is.
saw Big Hero 6. You saw that one.
I just don't remember the name. Oh! Now I see it.
Yeah, you saw Big Hero 6 with Baymax?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that. So yeah, when they have the little scene with the professor, the older professor, that's actually Stan Lee.
What?
Yep. Any other characters you want to know about? You know Balloon Man's a real character from the comics?
No.
Yeah, the villain they fight at the beginning. He's a real character from the comics. He actually fought a group called the Metal Men.
That's cool. But there is one character I want to know about. It's just that I just want to know how did they make it look so cool when they time traveled?
Oh, well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into the moving panels. And although we can't really talk about a comic book that inspired any of this because it didn't, we're going to get into just to some of the fun stuff about the movie. So the way the movie opened, did you recognize that DC opening with Superman and Batman? Like, have you seen that in the beginning of another movie before?
Yes.
Yeah, they took what had popped up at the beginning of a lot of the DC movies, but they made it look like the Teen Titans Go animation. Also, do you remember at the beginning when it's flipping through the comic book, and then you end up finding out it's just a seagull doing it?
Yeah.
Do you know that that's actually making fun of the way Marvel movies open?
No.
Yeah.
I just figured that out because I'm thinking and I just have WandaVision stuck in my head,
Yeah.
you know.
Marvel movies open with flipping through like a comic book. What'd you think of the Lion King parody that they did? Robin's Dream, where it did like the Lion King?
Yeah, I did not like that he was just a baby and Batman just threw him.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think about seeing like the Flash like chewing on grass?
That was hilarious.
And Aquaman and Mira jumping through the water like they're dolphins.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I know what part you really liked though, and that were the songs.
Yes.
Which was your favorite song?
It's All About Me.
The My Superhero movie?
Yeah.
The one that Robin sings?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, though, and we actually talked about this while we were watching the movie, that one's not sung by the voice actor.
Yes.
Yeah, which you recognized. You actually...
Yeah.
You realized his voice was different.
Because, heard him singing in a different song, and in that song, he's, singing in, this different, really different voice.
Yeah. And did you know that the look they were trying to get across on that while he's singing was from a 90s television show called Batman the Animated Series?
Oh, now I see it.
Yeah, I'm showing Ruby a picture of Batman standing on the rooftop with a lightning strike, which they parody with Robin. Yeah. What about the other two songs? What about the Teen Titans rap, Go?
That was really cool. I love how when they were fighting Slade, they actually sang the song. Mm-hmm. They might have ran out of breath.
And that was the actual cast. Those were the same people who do the voices. They were rapping.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. And then I know you like the song Upbeat because you were singing along with it.
I just only went up.
Yeah. And who did you said had the best singing voice?
Raven.
Yeah. So Tara Strong, you have a great singing voice. The tiger, Ruby won't know this, but the tiger who kind of sings it with them is actually voiced, or the singing voice is Michael Bolton. Now, Ruby, I know you don't know who that is, but he is a famous singer from a few years ago that sings a lot of like love ballads and whatnot. So it was kind of good for him. When you saw them filming the Batman versus Superman 2, did you get the thing about who's your mother's name? What's your mother's name?
Yeah. Actually, no.
Yeah. So that's from the actual movie Batman v Superman.
What?
Where when they're fighting, they end up finding out that both of their mothers are named Martha.
And they kind of think that they're brothers?
No, they realize there's a lot more that they have to fight for. Like, they realize that they're both fighting for good is what happens in the movie. Of course, in this movie, after finding out that both of their mothers are named Martha, Batman then says, "What's your father's name?" And they have different father's names because Superman's name is... Yeah, so they start fighting again. Yeah. All right. Now, one of the probably funnier parts, although I will say as an adult, it also gets very dark. That is when they do the time traveling on the little time cycles.
Uh-huh.
Now, did you notice when the time cycles come out, did you hear that music that was playing?
Yeah.
Did you recognize that music?
No.
So that music is from one of your mom's favorite movies, Back to the Future.
Oh.
And that's why you heard me chuckle when Robin says, "Let's go back to the future." And then he goes, "I mean the past." Because he's referencing...
Then I heard... Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, so that music that's playing, that's even the song that plays, "I gotta get back in time," that comes from the movie Back to the Future.
What?
So yeah, they were kind of using Back to the Future a lot in that. Now, when they were going through stopping the superheroes from getting created, you saw them save Krypton so Superman doesn't get created. They prevented Batman's parents from walking down the dark alley.
Also, I don't think that this one was really safe. They put I don't know what they're called, but they put that trash in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? That is not safe. I saw him choking.
Yeah, like I said, it gets dark. But then you asked, there was a part where it showed 4 turtles, and they just turned the turtles around.
Yeah,
and you said you didn't know what that was. They didn't reference it, but it's a joke for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Because those turtles find some ooze, and that's what turns them into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
Oh, but they're not really a DC kind of thing.
No, now there actually is a movie that has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaming up with Batman. So even though they're not officially DC owned, they have worked with other DC properties before.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, the movie was a success. It made a lot more money than they anticipated. It was a $10 million budget, made about $30 million or whatnot, so it was very successful. In fact, there is a sequel. You've seen the sequel, Teen Titans Go versus the Teen Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which we do see at the end. We see the original Teen Titans from the early 2000s. We see them show up.
That were like taller than them.
And they show up saying they think they found a way to get back. And of course that sets up the sequel. Yep. Although the sequel was not released in theaters. That just came on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So even though this one was successful and it did come out in the movie theaters, it was not successful enough for them to put the sequel in the movie theaters.
Here's a question. I'm confused why, if their voices are the same as the, Warner Brother animation.
So both sets of Teen Titans are the same voices, yeah?
I'm confused because one part they talk at the same time, so I'm kind of confused.
It's just they record it separately.
Oh.
And then they just play the recordings together.
Okay, now I get it.
So what'd you think of the movie?
It was good.
Yeah, what were your favorite parts?
The songs.
The songs? What'd you think about the whole Jade, Wilson, Slade...
Wilson.
Yeah, Slade reveal at the end.
The first time I watched it, I was like, no way. But then I'm like, Jade Slade. Oh.
Yeah. So, Ruby, if you don't know, on my podcast, I let the guest host rate it. And we rate it, we either call it bag it, stack it, or trade it. So let me explain how that works. Bag it means that it's the way you treat a comic book. So you know how you've seen my comic books and they're in like little bags?
Yeah.
So you put them in the bag, you seal it up because you really want to protect it. You like it so much. All right. And then stack it means that you're just going to put it in a stack of other comic books. You might look at it from time to time. And then trade it means that you would want to just get rid of it. You didn't like it. You'd rather trade it for something else. So in other words, bag it means that you really, 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 really liked it. Stack it means, I kind of liked it. I'll watch it again. And then trade it means I didn't like it. I want to get rid of it. So which one would you say it is?
I don't really know.
Well, did you really, really like it?
Yes.
So you would bag it?
Yes.
Okay, so Ruby would bag it. I'm going to say stack it. It's a little too kiddie for me. You know, when it opens up with a giant balloon passing gas, you know. And I admit the rap wasn't really my favorite thing, but I will say, though, I love, as a DC nerd, I love the references. I love seeing all the characters, especially in the theater. Like, Ruby, I could sit there and just name off all those characters you see sitting in the theater that don't speak, but you just see them sitting there. Loved it. You see Swamp Thing, you see Jonah Hex, you see all of these random elongated man.
When at the end of the movie, I think I saw someone from DC Superhero Girls.
I'm sure you did. I mean, there was Batgirl was there, Supergirl was there.
I know, but I mean like the magic girl.
Zatanna.
Yeah.
Yep, she was there. Her. Yep. All right. Anything else you want to say, Ruby?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. This was fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And tell everybody bye.
Bye.
All right, for Moving Panels, I'm Laramy Wells, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.